Welcome to the Professional Edge. My name's Todd, tax attorney, CPA, and certified financial planner, host of the Professional Edge. In this session, we are talking about is now the time to pivot. We have just seen the inauguration of the President of the United States. Joe Biden is now there. Kamala Harris is the Vice President of the United States. Transition of power is done. So now we have a Senate-controlled Congress. We have the Democrats in the White House as well. And we're not here to talk about politics at all. It is you as an investor trying to plan for your safe and secure retirement. What exactly are you going to do now that there's been a change in the administration? There's a different policy and a different agenda. We're having a spike in COVID cases again. We're having the vaccine rollout to a what is not the best rate on the rollout, and that's being addressed, I guess, during this first 100 days. And we're going to see what exactly the policy difference is going to be in this administration. And, you know, we're still in that first month of 2021. So, again, we have these New Year's resolutions. Do stay with your diet. That's one thing. Is it time to pivot? Yes, it's time to pivot and put the Doritos away and get some seedless grapes. Just go ahead and eat those. A lot of times it is just a habit of putting your hand in a bag and putting it towards your face. And why not have some grapes to do that? So again, is now the best time to pivot? And the answer is yes. I'm not a dietitian, but I know eating grapes versus Doritos would definitely help the waistline. So when we say is now the time to pivot, and we have this first month of 2021, what is your New Year's resolution on getting your estate plan done? And a lot of individuals don't have any sort of estate planning, and a lot being defined as 50% of all individuals. And we want to change that here on the Professional Edge. And that's where if you go to our website, emcadvisors.com, that is Echo Mary Charlie Advisors.com. On the right-hand side, you're going to see a red button, which is the Ultimate Estate Plan Guide. Click that. That'll get you started on planning your estate. And the reason why you want to have your estate planned is because bad things happen to good people. And a lot of individuals are just don't even know where to start. Yeah, they know they need an estate plan. Do they really need a will, or do they need a trust? If they have minor children, who's going to be the beneficiary of their IRAs, of their insurance? Do they actually have enough insurance? We have this enrollment period that's come forth. Do we elect a benefit on our children? Do we have a benefit on our spouse? Is our spouse covered enough? Do we need a separate individual policy for that? Well, we all don't know. So it's a great place to start. That is the EMC Advisors website. That is Echo Mary Charlie Advisors.com. And go ahead and select that red button, the Ultimate Estate Planning Guide. So that is my call to action number one for this week's show, and that is now the time to pivot? Well, pivot is actually you're changing direction. If you're a procrastinator, well, let's pivot and get some things done. So that's the first thing to get done, is to get your estate plan in order. And with an estate plan, you would have a last will and testament. You would have a durable financial power of attorney, and you would have an advanced health care directive. Now, I'm a big proponent on not leaving your estate outright to your beneficiaries, because it's taken you your entire lifetime to accumulate your net worth. And we've seen where most estate beneficiaries blow their inheritance within 93 days date of death. So imagine that you've worked your entire life, and your heirs are going to receive this. And sort of the saying goes, you're not traveling first class, but your children will. So that's one thing which we strongly recommend at estate management counselors, having completed over 2,500 estate plans, to not leave the inheritance outright to the beneficiaries, because now we can have creditor protection, and that creditor protection goes against lawsuits, and also, imagine this, ex-spouses. So that son or daughter-in-law, which you don't really like right now, they could be that outlaw and therefore the inheritance that your children receive is going to be protected from the claims of that ex-spouse. So if that's not a wake-up call to get things in place, because we know more than half of all marriages are ending in divorce now, I think that rate's going to go up as social media is here, and this COVID has put a constraint on a lot of individual relationships. So again, go to emcadvisors.com, right-hand side, the Ultimate Estate Planning Guide. So on to is now the time to pivot. Well, we've seen interest rates at these historical lows. As a saver, the bank is paying close to 0.5%. So if you take into account inflation, then you're actually losing the purchasing power of that money very safely. So you have $100,000 and you're getting 0.5%. 1% on $100,000 is going to be $1,000. So 1/2 of that is going to be $500 for your $100,000. But most of you are saying, hey, that's going to be FDIC insured, which is a true statement. But with that safety of the backing of that FDIC insurance, there is no risk. So we all know that risk and reward go hand in hand. So with the lack of risk, then there is a lack of reward. So therefore, that rate of return is 0.5%. So let's just click the dial one thing. Is it time to pivot that $100,000? You've went through the COVID crisis. You're still holding on to that $100,000. You haven't done anything different. So what is one click on the dial? Well, one click on the dial would be short duration treasury bonds. So that is bonds that are having a 1 to 3 or 1 to 5 year maturity level, and you can yield out about 1.7, 1.8%. So we basically increased your rate of return more than 100%, because close to 200% increase in return if you like percentages. So now we're getting 2% on our $100,000. That's going to be $2,000, not $500. So just for listening here on the Professional Edge, by moving that one click on the dial, you pivoted one click on the risk continuum, and therefore you would receive an extra $1,500. Divide that by 12, you're going to get roughly $110 to $120 more per month in interest income. All right, so let's step on 2 clicks on the dial and see what that happens if you pivot a little bit further. Well, those are like AA corporate bonds. The Fortune 500 companies that issue bonds, they don't want to issue any more stocks, so they issue bonds, and they could have a longer maturity, a 10-year maturity on that, and they may pay, let's say, 3 to 4%. So we have 4% on our $100,000. That's $4,000 for the year. Compare that to our $500 for our safe and secure investment at the bank. And therefore, we're going to have an extra $3,500. That is $300 per month approximately. So you got to ask yourself, for that 2 clicks on the dial for a little bit more risk, is that worth $300 more per month? And when we're looking at this is just round numbers. You may have more than $100,000 sitting at the bank. It's amazing how much people have accumulated in cash holdings during this COVID crisis. But yet the stock market has continued to rise, and a lot of people are like, it's going to crash, it's going to crash. No one really knows when it's going to crash, and we all know that the market goes up and the market goes down. But over the course in time, the market has continued to have a positive rate of return. So let's take 3 clicks on the dial. That would be, for example, your high yield bonds, and those are meaning higher risk bonds, because the companies underlying this may have a little bit of credit risk to them. Are they going to still have the ability to pay the interest payments and redeem the principal when the bond matures? Well, with that, you probably get close to 6 or 7% interest. Just for discussion purposes, 6% on $100,000 is going to be $6,000. Quick math, that's $500 a month. Compare that to your $500 that you would get in your CD at the bank. So therefore, we compare that. All right, I'm up $500 versus $6,000. I'm up $5,500. That's dramatically different. So again, is it time to pivot on that to reassess what you're going to do with this new administration? And we are almost certain that some tax law provisions are going to be changing. We also know that the Fed might be stuck here at a very low rate of interest. And if you're seeking out a home to purchase, now might be the time. And again, it is a seller's market in the real estate. So again, is it time to pivot and actually get a strategy together to get out of the apartment or even downsize? If you have a nice house in a nice neighborhood and, the kids are going to be gone in a year or two, it might be the opportune time to make that pivot. And that is basically sell that large house. We already know the current tax law. If you're married, filing joint, you can exclude $500,000 of that gain. Put that money in your pocket. That's going to be tax free. We don't have to reinvest that to exclude that from taxable income. And we're making that pivot. So if we take that proceeds, put that in our pocket, the $500,000, we sell our house for let's say $600,000. We take $500 off the table, put that in the portfolio, take $100,000 and buy a $200,000 house, finance the balance, because the reason why the interest rates are below 3% on a mortgage. So if inflation's running at 3 and you're paying 2, well, then you basically have some free money there. So those are the things we look at estate management counselors. And if this might be the time to pivot, the way to start that conversation is give our office a call at 877-654-9798. That number again, 877-654-9798. And we can set up that consultation. Again, with COVID, we can do a Zoom call. That's pretty convenient for everyone involved. Or if you want to meet down here at the Cunningham Center, we can do that as well. And if you want to brave the traffic in the Atlanta area, the ATL, as most people refer to it, you're welcome to do that too. And again, that number is 877-654-9798. That number again, 877-654-9798. So is now the time to pivot? And that means a lot of things. Again, put the Dorito bag away and grab these seedless grapes. That's pivoting. That's changing things. You have that cash money that's been sitting there accumulating and earning your 0.5%. That's $500 for the year. Wow, 2 clicks or 3 clicks on the dial of the risk continuum. You could be at 5 or 6% on the yield. 6% on that 100 is $6,000. That's $500 a month. So you would have 11 more months of $500. That becomes real money. And it's not one magic thing that you're going to do. It is these multiple little things that you're going to do. You're not magically going to lose 10 pounds, but if you skip dessert or skip eating between meals over the course of 30, 60, 90 days, they're going to add up. So come back, join us. We're going to have more on the Professional Edge. My name's Todd, tax attorney, CPA, certified financial planner, and thanks for listening to the Professional Edge.
With today's financial markets, are you getting the personal and professional attention you and your money deserve? Clients of estate management counselors benefit from having one set of professionals advise them on their tax, estate planning, and investment advice. We call that the Professional Edge. Todd is a tax attorney, CPA, and certified financial planner. With over 15 years' experience, he welcomes the opportunity to assist you in preparing for retirement, implement effective tax planning strategies, and to help you properly plan your estate. His radio show, The Professional Edge, is aired weekly on Sundays at 9 a.m. If you're interested in meeting with call his office at 877-654-9798. That's 877-654-9798. Do you want to feel more confident about making the right investment, tax, and estate planning decisions? Today, these decisions are more complex than ever. Have you thought about working with a professional advisor and not sure who to turn to? Not sure what qualifies one to be an advisor? Todd is more than qualified as a tax attorney, CPA, and certified financial planner. is with Estate Management Counselors. Estate Management Counselors operates as an independent fee-only investment advisory firm. They're dedicated to gaining a personal understanding of their clients' objectives and implementing professional counsel and advice to achieve those objectives. So take a second to talk with Scene Todd to learn how you can benefit from their multidisciplinary practice where they coordinate their clients' legal, tax, and investment strategies into one comprehensive and integrated plan to enhance and protect their clients' financial security. You can reach estate management counselors and speak with Scene Todd by calling 1-877-654-9798. That's 1-877-654-9798.